Hey guys, Altcoin Sherpa here. Today I want to talk to you guys about Bitcoin dominance and what Bitcoin dominance is. As always, this is not financial advice. Trading is risky. I am not a professional. Do your own research. So you might see these charts floating around Twitter, and you might see people talking about Bitcoin dominance. And today I wanted to talk to you guys about what Bitcoin dominance is and how you can use it for your trading. So the BTC.D or Bitcoin dominance chart is seen right here, and Bitcoin dominance is basically what the total market share that Bitcoin has relative to the rest of the cryptocurrency market. So right now, as you can see, Bitcoin dominance is right around 61%, and I believe, I looked it up right now, the total crypto market cap right now is 570 billion, and with Bitcoin comprising of 61% of that, that means the Bitcoin market cap is at around 350 billion. So this chart just basically shows what percentage of the market that is dominated by Bitcoin. Okay, so how does that relate to you as an altcoin trader? There's a few principles I want you guys to really understand, and the biggest one is that the Bitcoin dominance chart and altcoin strength, meaning alt BTC pairs specifically, they have an inverse relationship. So whenever Bitcoin dominance goes up, alt BTC pairs generally always go down. And you're going to see some exceptions to that, but this is really important to understand as an altcoin trader. You want to see Bitcoin dominance go down because that means that alt BTC pairs are really going up in that situation. From a total market cycle perspective, Bitcoin dominance has some trends that have happened over the last few years. It's a small sample, but I strongly believe that Q4 is a good time generally to trade altcoins. And I'm going to show you some specific times here in which this happened over the last few years. So this is in 2017. This was the greatest alt season of all time. This was that big run up in November of 2017, all the way up to $20,000. Bitcoin's all-time high levels, of course. And generally when Bitcoin is going very strongly, alt BTC pairs suffer. And alt BTC pairs are really just altcoin price divided by Bitcoin price. So if altcoin price is staying the same and Bitcoin price is going much higher, then the alt BTC pair is going to fall a lot. And what does that mean for you as an altcoin trader? It means that if you are holding an altcoin, say Ethereum in ETH BTC, and ETH BTC goes down, that means that you would have made more money just holding Bitcoin in general. And traditionally, over time, Bitcoin outperforms altcoins nearly the entire market. There are some exceptions, of course, such as Link, but in general, Bitcoin will outperform. So there are situations and there are certain times of the year when Bitcoin does not outperform altcoins. And this is the quote-unquote alt season. These are the altcoin pumps that we see. And I'm going to go in with a example here of what the timeline generally is or has been the last few years and how we can expect this to be in the next coming weeks and months. So in the purple boxes I highlighted here, this is generally when Bitcoin has been running up or running down. In situations of very high volatility, altcoins generally do not perform very well in either scenario. Meaning if Bitcoin's dumping very hard, then altcoins generally don't do well. And if Bitcoin's pumping very well, then altcoins also don't do very well. Now, there are exceptions to this, but that's the general idea for the environment that you should trade altcoins in. So these purple boxes, this is generally where altcoins are going down, meaning this is when the Bitcoin dominance is going up. So purple chart, this is generally in October, November. Again, you can kind of see here, I'll scroll in a little bit more. Bitcoin dominance is rising. Again, remember the inverse relationship. Altcoins, alt BTC values that is, are going down during this time. So this happened again in November to mid-December of 2018. And here in mid-November to late December of 2019, this is when altcoins in general were suffering, alt BTC values. And again, this happened originally in 2017 during the big run-up. So generally, you can see around early to mid-December is when altcoins really start to pump. And that's highlighted with this yellow box here. You can basically see this is the greatest alt season that we ever saw, when you could buy something and it was pumping 400x of whatever you were buying just because they had a new logo or whatever. And this was just a massive dump. This is, where altcoins ironically were the quote unquote safe haven for Bitcoin dumping in 2017, I believe. So that was 2017. From December to February, basically altcoins were skyrocketing. And that's when Ethereum hit its all-time high. Again, in 2018, around December, mid-December, you saw altcoins basically start to go down for about a month. And the same thing, this was a little bit longer in 2017. But 2018, December to early January, alt BTC pairs were doing very strongly. Again, here in early 2020 or late 2019, you saw late December to early February, alt BTC pairs were going up. And again, as an altcoin trader, you want to see Bitcoin dominance go lower because alt BTC values are really going to go strong. So what happens after that period? So we have basically a month starting in December. So from December to January or maybe early February, we have altcoin pumping. And then blue boxes, this is when alts cool off and altcoins are retracing a little bit and pulling back from their pumps. And this is highlighted here in April. Basically, from February to early April, you saw the altcoins basically pull back heavily in 2018. Again, in 2019, you saw from January to February, you saw altcoins basically pull back a lot. And again, in early 2020, you saw in February to March, you saw altcoins pull back. But it doesn't necessarily mean those runs are over, as highlighted here in these green boxes. Again, in usually April, you'll see altcoins do pretty well, April or March. In 2018, you saw, again, Bitcoin dominance fall heavily from April to May. And this is, again, a small window for altcoins to trade in. In 2019, you saw from February basically to the end of March, you saw another altcoin pump. And in 2020 here, we saw altcoins pumping from March all the way to April. Now, traditionally, 2 years ago, the summers have really been hard for altcoin traders. From May all the way to September of 2018, you can basically see price or Bitcoin dominance getting higher and higher. That was really difficult for altcoin traders. That basically meant that all altcoins were just dying off. And that, again, happened again in 2019 as well. 2020 was quite a bit different due to decentralized finance. We saw heavy pumping throughout the year, and this was actually something that surprised me quite a bit. I thought that Bitcoin dominance was going to go a little higher, but decentralized finance helped us have a longer alt season than I expected. And we saw heavy retracement for altcoins in September and October, and that was a situation where I personally gave back some gains, and I'm sure many others did too. So what am I expecting here for 2020, at the end of 2020? I was expecting Bitcoin dominance to rise again, and that was for a few reasons. Number one is that Bitcoin is nearing its all-time high levels, and there's a lot of volatility expected. I believe that Bitcoin could absolutely go all the way to 25,000. That's not out of the realm of possibility, of course. And if that happens, then this is going to hold true, basically. Bitcoin dominance is going to rise very heavily, and I believe that altcoins are going to suffer from from an alt BTC perspective. It's quite possible that this purple box has already happened right here. Maybe this was the rise. So we have a heightened cycle from, instead of from November to December where altcoins are dying off and Bitcoin dominance is going higher, maybe that's what already happened, and now we're already within this cycle here. But I personally am not so sure about that because I want Bitcoin to do its thing. I truly don't believe that we're going to see a pronounced downtrend from an Bitcoin dominance perspective until we see Bitcoin finish its run, meaning once it hits 25,000 and starts going back down as a pullback, or if it starts pulling back now from 19,000 or wherever it's at, all the way back down to 15,000 or 16,000 or wherever it stalls out. Once it makes that big full pullback, I believe that we're going to see some strong altcoin gains. So my personal plan is to basically continue to accumulate. If Bitcoin dominance goes higher within the next few weeks, which is certainly a possibility, I am going to keep buying altcoins, and I'm already well positioned now where I have I have exposure already to several altcoins already. I plan on compounding my positions throughout this period where Bitcoin dominance is going down, so from maybe December to January, and I plan on selling the majority of my altcoins at the end of February or so, or maybe beginning of February, depending on where I think that altcoins are going to pull back at. Rebuy again when Bitcoin dominance is going higher, because I project that Bitcoin is probably going to be going up at that point. So how I expect to see it is Bitcoin's going to hit its big run up at 25,000, or maybe just now. It's going to start going down, at which point altcoins are going to do very well. It's going to sit for a little bit. Altcoins are going to do very well during that time, maybe until January. And then Bitcoin's going to start moving up again, at which point this is the blue box area in February to March. And at that point, all BTC values are probably going to go down, maybe hit a double top. And at that point, when it starts to go down, that's when altcoins maybe pump again in March, accumulate, form a higher low. And again, this will be the the green box here, where altcoins do well again. And then once summer hits, I believe that Bitcoin goes to the moon. And I am not planning on being exposed to very many altcoins if Bitcoin starts its strong run in the summer. That is my plan. I plan on lowering my exposure heavily from altcoins heading into the summer. But you have to be flexible with your ideas and your plans. You don't necessarily have to have it set in stone. That I was a little too slow in my initial perspective back in the summer of 2020, just because I kept waiting for the pullback that might have happened, but for altcoins, and it never really did because decentralized finance. So I missed out on some gains personally, but this is my plan going forward, and I strongly believe that there are going to be some good months for Bitcoin dominance and altcoin traders in the coming weeks and months. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video on Bitcoin dominance and what it is. Good luck.